Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are some curious little kiddos. The young royals teamed up to quiz TV icon Sir David Attenborough about the natural world, and it's truly too cute for words.
Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and Prince George have just made a surprising announcement that has left the world stunned. Despite their status as royal children, their lives have been anything but picture-perfect, marked by challenges that would astonish anyone. This latest revelation offers a rare glimpse into the struggles they've endured at such a young age.
We're now seeing, even from a very early age in his life, Prince George supported by Princess Charlotte.
But what exactly did the Cambridge royal kids reveal, and why has it caused such a global uproar? Stay with us as we uncover the heartbreaking announcement from Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and Prince George. The announcement that has left the world confused. You'd agree that kids should be free to enjoy their childhood without worrying about life's serious matters, right? But for Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and Prince George, that's sadly not the case. What they recently announced has left people in shock and tears, revealing the challenges of being born into royalty. It's a life far from what many of us imagine, and the details will surprise you. First, let's get to know these remarkable kids a bit better. Let's start with Prince George. Born on July 22, 2013, George is the first child of Prince William and Princess Kate.
In just the last few seconds, the announcement that the British royal family has a new member, a prince.
As the eldest of the three siblings, he's third in line to the British throne after his grandfather, King Charles, and his father, Prince William. Sounds like a privileged life, doesn't it? But it's far from that picture-perfect fantasy. From the moment he was born, George has been under intense public scrutiny. Every move he makes, every smile, every gesture, it's all watched, analyzed, and sadly, sometimes criticized. For an 11-year-old, that kind of attention can be overwhelming. While most kids his age are figuring out what they want to be when they grow up, George already knows the weight of his destiny as a future king. Over time, George has learned that life as a royal comes with expectations that can feel stifling. He's had to mature quickly, not just for himself, but to support his younger siblings, Charlotte and Louis. As the eldest, George feels a sense of responsibility to shield them from the same pressures he's faced. Now let's talk about Princess Charlotte. Born on May 2, 2015, Charlotte is the only daughter of William and Kate, and she holds a very special place in the family. Named after her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, and her late grandmother, Princess Diana, Charlotte carries a legacy that's both inspiring and incredibly demanding. Charlotte is bright, confident, and adored by her parents, but her royal status comes with its own set of challenges. Like George, she's been in the public eye from day one. Tease a reality Charlotte has had to deal with since she was just a toddler. Despite her young age, Charlotte has started to understand the weight of her role in the royal family. She's even expressed her discomfort with the constant attention, making it clear that this isn't the life she would have chosen if given the chance. Then there's Prince Louis, the youngest of the three.
Prince Louis steals the spotlight once again.
Louis is just 6 years old, but he's already experienced the pressures of being a royal. For someone so young, it's heartbreaking to think about the challenges he faces. Like his siblings, Louis has grown up in a world where privacy is almost non-existent. Every time he makes a silly face or acts his age, the media pounces on it. While most 6-year-olds can enjoy carefree days, Louis is learning that his every move can be turned into a headline. As a family, George, Charlotte, and Louis have had many privileges and pressures, and recently, their lives have taken another tragic turn that has made their situation even more complicated. What it is will shock you. Another tragedy in the lives of Princess Charlotte, Louis, and George. While you might now have glimpses of the challenges surrounding the lives of Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and Prince George, a recent tragic event has taken things to a whole new level. It's already well known that their parents, Prince William and Princess Kate, have incredibly busy schedules. With William preparing to step into his father's shoes as the future king, the demands on their time are immense. For years, the leadership of William and Kate has been a huge blessing to the British public. they've tirelessly championed causes like mental health awareness, early childhood development, and numerous charitable projects. Their work has inspired millions and even made them incredible role models for their children. But that dedication has come at a cost. Charlotte, Louis, and George, like any other kids, crave the attention of their parents. While William and Kate do their best to balance royal duties with family life, the reality is that their kids sometimes have to adjust to their parents being pulled in many directions. It's a bittersweet truth. The same admirable work that makes William and Kate such incredible figures to look up to has also left their children longing for more time with them, and now, with a shocking turn of events, their lives have been further complicated. It all began earlier this year when Princess Kate's health became a serious concern. For months, there had been whispers about her health, but the royal family kept things private until a bombshell announcement shook the nation.
Kate Middleton gives a rare update on her cancer battle. The Princess of Wales shares a new message about her health on June 14th, the first she's provided since disclosing her unspecified cancer diagnosis in March.
Kate had undergone major abdominal surgery. At first, it was reported that the surgery was for a non-cancerous condition, and the public expected her to bounce back quickly. True to form, Kate did everything she could to resume her royal duties. But then, in an unexpected twist, it became clear that something wasn't right. Kate didn't return to her public role as soon as anticipated. Instead, the world was hit with devastating news. Kate had been diagnosed with cancer. This revelation sent shockwaves across Britain and beyond. Kate is more than just a beloved princess. She's a supportive wife, a devoted mother, and a beacon of hope for so many. Her health crisis was heartbreaking, not just for those who admire her from afar, but especially for her family. Kate's charitable work over the years has been nothing short of remarkable. Alongside William, she has helped modernize the monarchy, bringing it closer to everyday people. But now, as she battles this illness, everything has been put on hold. While the world rallies around Kate with love and support, the ones most deeply affected are, without a doubt, her children. George, Charlotte, and Louis have always been the center of her world, and she's done everything in her power to give them a stable, loving upbringing despite the pressures of royal life. As parents, William and Kate have worked hard to create as much normalcy as possible for their kids. From school drop-offs to family outings, they've tried to shield George, Charlotte, and Louis from the intense public spotlight. But now, with Kate's health struggles, that sense of normalcy has been disrupted. For the children, it's a challenging time. They're not just dealing with the demands of royal life anymore. They're also grappling with the fear of losing their mother and adjusting to a new reality where their parents' attention is divided between their royal duties and Kate's health. But how have the children responded to the situation so far? Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and George's surprising resilience. Despite the tough challenges that Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and the Prince George have faced, their response has been nothing short of astonishing. These royal kids have shown resilience beyond their years, continuing to grow and thrive even in the face of adversity. Take Prince George, for example. At just 10 years old, he's already developing a deep sense of purpose and some truly impressive interests.
Prince George will one day have the controls of the royal family when he eventually takes over as king, but for now he's actually taking controls of an aeroplane for the first time in his life.
Like his father, George has a keen fascination with aviation. He's often seen gazing at planes with excitement, and he even got the chance to fly in a helicopter with his parents. It was a dream come true for a young aviation enthusiast, but it's not just flying that keeps George busy. His love for sports is undeniable. Soccer, tennis, and hockey are some of his favorites, and he's been spotted both attending major sports events and kicking a ball around with his siblings. These moments on the field give him a chance to enjoy a slice of normalcy, away from the pressures of royal life. George's love for animals is another big part of his world. From spending time with the family's late dog, Lupo, to caring for their new furry companion, Orla, George has always shown a soft spot for animals. He's also visited farms and petting zoos, where he's clearly in his element. And just like his mom, George is developing a budding interest in photography. He's often seen snapping photos during family outings, capturing moments that likely help him process everything happening around him. On top of all this, George is even learning Spanish, thanks to his nanny, Maria Teresa Turion Baralo. Despite everything, George remains a confident, energetic boy. Those close to the royal family describe him as a young leader in the making. He's growing into his role by attending official royal engagements and spending quality time with his grandparents, Prince Charles and Carol Middleton, who are constant sources of support. Now let's talk about Princess Charlotte. At just 8 years old, Charlotte is proving to be a bright light in her family. Her positive energy is infectious, and even during tough times, she's been a source of love and warmth for her parents. Charlotte has been seen accompanying her mom and dad to ceremonial events, charming everyone with her cheerful demeanor and natural grace. Charlotte's ability to bring smiles to those around her has been vital during challenging times. Despite her young age, she has an intuitive sense of when her family needs her support. Her gestures, whether it's holding her mother's hand or sharing a comforting hug with her siblings, show just how much she understands the importance of family. To help her cope and thrive, Charlotte has embraced a variety of interests. She has a love for dancing and has reportedly been taking ballet lessons, which bring her immense joy and provide her with a creative outlet. Her performances often bring the family together, creating moments of joy amidst the chaos. Sports are another big part of Charlotte's life. Like her brothers, she enjoys playing soccer and other games, often joining in with their backyard matches. Her competitive spirit and teamwork have made her a natural leader among her siblings. Charlotte's love for animals is also worth noting. She shares a special bond with the family's pets and often takes on the responsibility of helping care for them. Her nurturing nature extends to her interactions with her siblings, where she plays the role of the thoughtful older sister to Louis and the supportive companion to George. And then there's little Prince Louis. At just 5 years old, Louis has already captured hearts with his playful personality and heartwarming antics. Despite being the youngest, Louis has shown a surprising level of understanding and support during his family's trying times. Louis has a knack for brightening up even the darkest days. His cheeky smile and lively spirit are constant reminders of the innocence and joy of childhood. During family gatherings and public events, Louis is often the one to bring laughter with his candid expressions and amusing remarks. Louis is developing beautifully, embracing his interests with enthusiasm. He loves the outdoors and is often seen running around, exploring his surroundings with endless curiosity. Gardening has become one of his favorite activities, where he enjoys planting flowers and getting his hands dirty. He's also discovered a love for arts and crafts, spending hours drawing, painting, and creating little projects that he proudly shows to his family. His creative side is encouraged by his parents, who see it as a way for him to express himself and stay engaged. And although Louis is the youngest, he is far from being left out. He started joining his family at public events, where his energy and charm bring lightheartedness to otherwise formal occasions. His bond with his siblings is growing stronger by the day, with George often guiding him and Charlotte helping him navigate life as a young royal. Together, these three siblings are navigating a life that's far from ordinary. They've had to grow up faster than most kids their age, but they're doing so with courage and grace. Knowing this, it has become clear that no matter what challenges come their way, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, and Prince George have what it takes to rise above. With the unwavering support of their parents, their shared bond as siblings, and their own unique strengths, they are on a path to becoming proud, remarkable members of the royal family. Seeing that their relationship wasn't fruitful, Charles had to leave on naval duties. This forced Camilla to move on, and soon a new suitor came in of the name Andre Parker Bowles, who was then a guard officer. The two soon got married, and their marriage was seen as appropriate within their social circle and status. When Prince Charles heard about the marriage between Camilla and Andrew, he felt betrayed and was deeply affected by it. Reports even say that the pair's wedding announcement was done without their consent. The parents of both Andrew and Camilla had sent out the announcement to the Times newspaper, which then forced Andrew to immediately propose to Camilla. Their marriage took place on the 4th of July, 1973, in a Roman Catholic ceremony at the Guards Chapel, Wellington Barracks, in London. The wedding was a grand one, and even considered Society Wedding of the Year. It had an attendance of over 800 guests, and was remembered by all. On the other hand, Charles was still affected by this marriage, but still, he kept tabs on Camilla, and still maintained their friendship with both Camilla and Andrew. At one point, he even became a godfather to a child of theirs, Tom. It seems bizarre that Charles and Camilla were still in close contact even after she got married, and we agree it was. It even caused some sort of rumors to spread among the public, as most of them guessed that Camilla was still secretly in a relationship with Charles after her marriage. However, that wasn't the case. To us, Camilla had moved on from the fact that Charles and she were no longer a couple and focused her attention on building a family with Andrew. The pair went on and had 2 children, Tom and Laura. Seeing this, Charles was under immense pressure to find a suitable bride. He was often reminded by his peers and family on the note to settle down as soon as possible and just move on from what had happened between him and Camilla.
He knew it was going to happen, but he just didn't want to be part of it. So he just stayed well out of the way, and I think he was very, very sad about it. But
it was hard, but soon, Charles agreed. Prince Charles' love story. When Charles noticed the truth from his peers and family concerning him finding a suitable wife, he finally moved on. It was a hard decision, but Prince Charles realized there was no undoing what had been done. So, he began another relationship with Lady Diana Spencer in 1980. It didn't take long before the news spread, and soon it was everywhere that Prince Charles and Lady Diana were in a serious relationship.
Joining me now in the studio is Andrew Morton, the author of Diana, Her True Story, which brought to the public's attention the state of the royal marriage.
The news soon got to Camilla, and she had a reaction no one was expecting. The media and public thought to themselves that Camilla would have this bit of jealousy or hate upon hearing the news that Prince Charles and Diana were now together. However, she did something different that even surprised Prince Charles himself and even some members of the royal family. Camilla reportedly approved of the match between the two, saying she sees Diana as someone young, malleable, and pure, fit for Charles. Camilla also said she sees Lady Diana as someone who wouldn't threaten her relationship with Charles. This statement was viewed by the public as perhaps a manipulation by Camilla, putting Lady Diana in a tight spot. There is no doubt that Lady Diana might not have knowledge of Charles's affair with Camilla, and it's quite possible she wouldn't be comfortable in her marriage with the thought of them both still in contact. But, in contrast to Camilla's statement of Lady Diana, she might now be forced to act by it, trying to ascertain the picture Camilla had painted of her to be true. The prince and Diana got married in 1981. It was a huge wedding both in person and on television, with over 750 million audience watching live. Stunning, right? Well, it was expected, knowing the backstory between these two public figures. The marriage of Charles and Diana, later the Prince and Princess of Wales, took place on 29th of July, 1981, marking a high point in the popularity of the royal family. It was seen by a global television audience of 750 million. In Britain, where a public holiday had been declared, 28 million watched on BBC and ITV, with the majority of viewers on the BBC, while 600,000 lined the streets of London as they cheered and waited for Prince Charles and Lady Diana. Another reason the attendance was so high was due to rumors that Camilla might be in attendance for the wedding. So, viewers were hooked and wanted to watch every moment of the wedding for the possibility that they might see something glaring from either one of the three, most especially Camilla. Fortunately, that didn't happen, as Camilla displayed genuine joy and happiness throughout the event until it ended. It seemed like Prince Charles, Camilla, and Lady Diana had all gone about their separate lives and moved forward. Well, if that was the case, it would have made this video a whole better, and perhaps end on a joyous note, rather than the shocking revelation that would be coming later on. Despite Prince Charles's marriage to Diana, He was rumored to still have frequent contact with Diana, and that is where it all went south from there. Charles's frequent communication with Camilla only made matters worse, and hence the emotional connection with Camilla we thought to have gone down the drain only rekindled. It didn't take time before the two started seeing again, in private. This was starting to affect Charles and Diana's marriage. Although there weren't any official reports, it is believed that Charles and Camilla rekindled their affair in the mid-1980s. This period proved challenging for them both, but most especially, it affected Camilla the most. Her attention, genuine love for her husband, and family were becoming unstable as she tried balancing her emotions with Prince Charles, alongside family responsibilities, all while maintaining a secret communication and planned meet-up with Prince Charles. It was even rumored that Camilla had wanted to take things back to how they were before Charles's marriage, but one way or the other, she kept finding herself in the one spot that could ruin her the most. As for Prince Charles, well, he was able to juggle the complications with Diana and his own family. Now this is where things got messy for these two. In 1982, Charles and Diana had a child, Prince Williams, and 2 years later they had another, Prince Harry. The birth of these children brought about joy and complexity to Charles and Camilla's extramarital relationship. Camilla did the unexpected when Charles and Diana had a baby. She had their affair out on pause, and this totally shocked Charles. Her reasons revolved around Charles' children, William and Harry. Camilla thought of the impact that her affair with Charles could have on his kids, knowing it might be possible that they get divided attention for him, and although she loved him and loved what they had, she felt it was better to remain at the background since Williams and Harry were very much young and would need all the love and attention they could get from both of their parents equally. Prince Charles' marriage crisis. It didn't take long for Charles and Lady Diana's marriage to start having complications. There were several reasons for it, a major one being the affairs of Charles and Camilla. Yes, Diana got to find out about the pair's secret affairs, and it was in the year 1989 that Diana would publicly address Camilla herself. Wait until you hear what happens. But before that, let's look at the struggles of Charles's marriage and its aftermath. In the early 1980s, it was clear that Charles and Diana might go their separate ways. It was visibly deteriorating, even in public. The pair couldn't hold it in any longer. The bond, unison, was falling off. The public was furious at the sight of this and laid all the blame on Camilla, saying she had a vital role as to why Diana's marriage was starting to fall off. It got worse from here in 1992. The publication of Andrew Morton's book was what set everything ablaze. Andrew released a book about Lady Diana titled Diana, Her True Story. The book was thought to be solely about Diana and perhaps a glimpse of her family, but it had a context that sparked visible concerns within the public. Andrew's book openly discussed Charles and Camilla's secret affairs, thus adding to the already growing tension between Charles and Diana. Even though it wasn't confirmed if the context in Andrew's book was true, the public already chose to believe all of it. As if that wasn't enough, the following year, something truly unexpected would happen, making matters worse. It is known that Charles and Camilla were always talking and meeting in secret. What if we told you that? The cat got out of the bag. The year after Andrew's book was released was when the infamous scandal between Prince Charles and Camilla broke with the leak of an intimate phone conversation between the two. This was the public confirmation of their relationship, and it went chaotic from here, with Camilla getting the most out of it. Diana was loved by all. She was in fact what Camilla had described her to be right before she got married to Charles. And the public? Well, they were her backbone. They knew the relationship Charles had with Camilla was affecting her, and they could see it in her body language whenever she was out with Charles. So, when the phone conversation was leaked, it riled up the public, and they unleashed a torrent of negativity and public hostility towards Camilla. She was hated by all. Then, to top it all off, Lady Diana had a confrontation with Camilla in person, and although it didn't get ugly or chaos broke out, It was quite embarrassing. Princess Diana confronted Camilla about the affair at a birthday party, in what she called one of her bravest moments. "I said, I know what's going on between you and Charles, and I just want you to know that," Princess Diana told Andrew. She said to me, "You've got everything you ever wanted. All the men in the world fall in love with you, and you've got 2 beautiful children. What more do you want?" So I said, "I want my husband." This statement sent shivers down Camilla's spine, that throughout the party she was feeling uneased and tensed until eventually she left. Throughout these challenging times, Camilla did nothing to draw the public attention to her, knowing very well that anything she did, or statement she might come out to make, would do more harm than good. Her primary concern was all about William, who was old enough to understand the situation, so she avoided causing him any more pain. That was before Williams made his decision on the Queen, thereby making it shocking as he revealed his decision. We'd get there soon. Stay put. Prince Williams. Shocking decision on Queen Camilla. Charles and Diana's marriage eventually came to an end in 1994. While some of the public were hurt just as much as Diana was, others were happy as they claimed Diana was maltreated all through her marriage and wasn't loved properly. The pain only got worse when Diana died in a car accident, just a year after her divorce. This news caused sadness to her lovers all over the world. As for Charles and Camilla, they would go on to marry, but they did thread about their relationship carefully, mindful of the public still sensitive to Diana's passing. Gradually, Charles involved his sons with Camilla. Although it was a difficult process, Charles was finally able to succeed, and then slowly Charles and Camilla appeared out in public frequently. It took quite a while before the public accepted her, and they faced serious criticism every time. In 2005, King Charles brought on Annabel Elliott as the chief designer for his estates. She was a brilliant and creative interior and exterior designer, but there is more as to why she got hired by King Charles. And no, it is not what you're thinking. The two didn't have a secret affair. But we like it as you're making guesses. It shows you're following. Let's continue, shall we? Annabel's services in Cornwall, Wales, and Scilly were funded through the Duchy of Cornwall, an estate that was designed to generate income for the heir to the British throne, which is King Charles, and then Prince Williams. This is where things get tense. Annabel, who Charles had just hired to be the chief designer for his estate, is Queen Camilla's younger sister. During her tenure, reports said Annabel was overpaid for her services, which isn't a surprise. The annual reports leading up to September 2022 say she was paid over $25,000 for fees and commission. Then she was paid over $15,000 for purchases of furniture and retail stock for the Duchess's properties. This arrangement became a routine between King Charles and Annabel until Charles ascended to the throne, thereby making Prince William take over Duchy as the new Duke of Cornwall. This is when Prince Williams made his decision, which shocked Queen Camilla. A year later, at exactly the month of June, Prince Williams made the shocking decision not to rehire Annabel as the chief designer for the estate. According to sources from within the royal family, Prince Williams didn't relieve Annabel of duty due to her lack of incompetence. It was for a different reason. Prince Williams made that decision solely because he thought her contribution to the estates was complete. Hence, her services were no longer needed. Since the staff at the Duché had learned from her, it was only right to let her go. Williams didn't stop there. He made sure that no further payments were made to Annabel, making his stance with her crystal clear. This decision is noteworthy to us. Perhaps it could be because of Annabel's long-term association with the royal family.
One of the hardest working and most respected members of the royal family, Princess Anne has a long and distinguished history as an equestrian.
Princess Anne is the king's right-hand woman. Other than the queen, she is probably one of the most important.
The royal family is in turmoil as Queen Camilla is facing a very unexpected courtroom battle. Princess Anne, known for her no-nonsense attitude, has reportedly taken Camilla to the Supreme Court. This comes after Anne exposed her in front of the entire royal family, leading to Camilla being stripped of her title. With Queen Elizabeth's final wish revealed and a heated power struggle brewing, this unexpected twist has left everyone stunned. What could Camilla have done to cause such a drastic action from Princess Anne? Join us as we reveal the details behind this royal showdown and why Queen Camilla lost it in court after Princess Anne snitched on her. The tension between Princess Anne and Queen Camilla. It all began on what was supposed to be a grand celebration, King Charles's coronation dinner. The evening was rich with royal rituals, dazzling displays, and the glitter of tiaras. But behind the grand walls of Buckingham Palace, something much more serious was happening. A drama that would change royal history forever. At the heart of it was Princess Anne, known for her no-nonsense personality and fierce loyalty to the monarchy. Anne has always been someone who speaks her mind, no matter the cost. And when it came to Queen Camilla, Anne was done staying quiet. There have been reports that suggest that tensions had been simmering between the two for a while. Camilla's way of handling royal duties, particularly her role as queen consort, had rubbed Anne the wrong way. It seemed Camilla had been making power plays, often sidelining other family members, much to Anne's annoyance. But what will actually go down in that coronation dinner? Keep watching to find out, because what comes next will shock you. But the drama in the royal family didn't happen overnight. It was the result of tensions building up over time. The coronation dinner turned out to be the tipping point. Anne decided it was time to confront Camilla, and she did so with characteristic bluntness. In front of the entire royal family, Anne reportedly laid out everything. She accused Camilla of manipulative behavior and called out her questionable tactics in managing royal responsibilities. Anne even questioned Camilla's authority as queen consort, something no one had dared to do so openly. Queen Camilla was reportedly accused of sidelining other family members, including Kate Middleton, during important royal events. The fallout was swift, and by the next day, Buckingham Palace issued a statement confirming that Queen Camilla had been stripped of her title and removed from her position. The news spread like wildfire, leaving everyone in different speculations. Even King Charles, known for his loyalty to Camilla, was reportedly left with no choice but to follow advice from senior royals. This unexpected twist has put Princess Anne in the spotlight as a key figure shaping the monarchy's future. Meanwhile, the public is left wondering, is this the start of a modern monarchy or the beginning of its downfall? One thing's for sure, behind the palace walls, the royal family is dealing with one of its most dramatic chapters yet. To truly understand the fall of Queen Camilla, we must revisit a small but powerful moment during the coronation. Princess Kate made a bold statement without saying a word. Kate, the future queen consort, chose not to curtsy to Camilla. At first glance, this might seem minor, but in the world of royal etiquette, it was a huge deal. A curtsy is more than a polite gesture. It's a sign of respect and tradition. For Kate, not curtsying sent a clear message about the growing tensions in the royal family. Many royal experts quickly started guessing what it meant. Some believed Kate's decision was her way of saying she was tired of old traditions. After all, the monarchy has been under pressure to modernize for years, but there was more to it than just tradition. Reports suggested that tensions had been building between Kate and Camilla, with a major sticking point being Camilla's handling of family dynamics. One particular event caused a major rift. Camilla had invited a large portion of her own family to a royal event while leaving out Kate's family, the Middletons. This move didn't sit well with Kate, who has always leaned on her family for support in her royal role. It wasn't just about being left out, it was about loyalty and respect. Kate's decision not to curtsy seemed to reflect her growing frustration with Camilla, but this wasn't just a simple disagreement. It was a public display of deeper problems within the royal family. The once perfect image of unity was beginning to crack, and the world was watching. Camilla, who had fought for years to become queen consort, now found herself under intense scrutiny. But how badly did this confrontation affect Camilla's reputation? Keep watching to find out. The effect of this confrontation on Camilla's reputation. The confrontation with Princess Anne, Kate, and Prince William left Queen Camilla's reputation in ruins, both within the royal family and in the eyes of the public. For years, Camilla had worked tirelessly to gain acceptance due to the fact that people secretly and even openly blamed her for the downfall of the marriage between King Charles and Princess Diana. Her rise to Queen Consort had been a hard-won victory, overcoming decades of criticism and public doubt, but in a matter of days, everything she had built started to crumble like a pack of cards. The royal family is built on unity and tradition, and Camilla's role as Queen Consort was supposed to symbolize stability, but the disagreements and tensions revealed cracks in that image. To the public, it seemed that Camilla's actions and decisions had created divisions within a family that already faced intense scrutiny. This painted her as a disruptive figure rather than a unifying force. Camilla's clashes with senior royals, especially the beloved Princess Anne, Kate Middleton, and Prince William, damaged her standing. Princess Anne is known for her dedication to the monarchy, and her open disapproval of Camilla was a major blow. It suggested that Camilla's leadership as Queen Consort had failed to earn the respect of key royal figures. If Anne, a trusted and loyal royal, couldn't support her, how could the public? Kate's silent refusal to curtsy also spoke volumes. Kate is a modern royal icon, admired for her grace and connection to the public. When she didn't show the expected respect to Camilla, it sent a clear message that even the younger generation of royals had doubts about her position. This subtle defiance only increased the public perception that Camilla was out of touch with the rest of the family. Prince William's frustrations worsened the damage. William, as the future king, carries significant influence. His reported criticism of Camilla's handling of royal duties made her seem ineffective and out of sync with the monarchy's future direction. For a queen consort, losing the trust and support of the next generation of leadership is a serious problem. The fallout exposed power struggles within the royal family, breaking the image of unity they usually try to project. Camilla's efforts to gain more control and push aside other royals made her seem more like a political player than a supportive partner to King Charles. To the public, this was the opposite of what a queen consort is supposed to be, someone who helps bring stability. Her removal from the role of queen consort was the final blow. It wasn't just a personal loss for Camilla, it was a clear message that the monarchy no longer trusted her to do the job. This decision hurt her legacy and damaged her reputation. Camilla's fall from grace has become a warning about how fragile power, tradition, and family ties can be within the royal family. It shows how easily both public and family trust can be lost, and how hard it is to rebuild it once lost. For Camilla, the consequences of these events will be long-lasting, overshadowing the years she spent trying to secure her place in royal history. With Camilla's sudden departure from the royal stage, the question on everyone's mind is, who will step into her shoes as queen consort? Will Kate Middleton be fast-tracked into the role, or will another royal family member take on the responsibilities of queen? As the shockwaves from Camilla's removal settle, one royal figure seems to have risen above the rest, and that is Princess Anne. Stay to find out what comes next for her. What's next for Princess Anne and the British monarch? Princess Anne, known for her no-nonsense attitude and strong sense of duty, has always been one of the most reliable members of the royal family. But in recent times, she has proven that she is more than just loyal. By directly challenging Camilla and exposing the power struggles within the family, Anne has firmly established herself as an important figure in the monarchy's future. Her bold actions, while controversial, have shown that she is not afraid to confront the most powerful members of the royal family. Her decisions could change the monarchy in ways that no one could have predicted. Princess Anne's role in bringing Camilla's downfall into the open has made her someone who cannot be ignored. She has demonstrated that being loyal to the crown doesn't mean staying quiet. It means having the courage to stand up to those in power, even if it goes against royal traditions. Anne's bravery has earned her respect, but it has also raised many questions. Her actions may have secured her place in royal history, but they have also caused a shift in the family's power dynamics. The royal family, which was once seen as united and stable, now faces divisions that cannot be ignored. Looking ahead, it's clear that the British monarchy is at a critical point. Camilla's removal from her position as queen consort has rocked the royal family, revealing tensions and struggles that had been building for years. With her fall, the monarchy must now face tough questions about its future, especially as public opinion about the family changes rapidly. The monarchy, once thought to be an unshakable symbol of stability, now finds itself at a crossroads. Its public image and unity are no longer guaranteed, and the future is uncertain. Camilla's removal is not just an isolated event, it is part of a much larger pattern that reveals deep divisions within the royal family. As old alliances crumble and new ones form, the question of what the future holds for the monarchy becomes more urgent. What will the monarchy look like in the years to come? How will it remain relevant in a world that is changing fast? The monarchy, once regarded as the model of stability and tradition, is now facing an identity crisis. The question is whether it can survive in a rapidly evolving world. With public opinion shifting and expectations changing, the royal family must figure out how to adapt to these new realities while keeping its traditions intact. How can it stay true to its past, while also moving forward in a world that demands more modern values? As the monarchy tries to navigate these challenges, one thing is clear. The British royal family is no longer the symbol of unshakable unity it once was. The internal power struggles and divisions that have been exposed show that the family is not as united as it once seemed. The monarchy, once thought to be a symbol of tradition, is now facing public scrutiny like never before. Its future depends on its ability to adapt, heal the divisions that have surfaced, and evolve to meet the changing demands of society. With the monarchy's public image at stake, it's uncertain whether it can recover from the fallout of Camilla's removal and the growing tensions within the family. Can the monarchy emerge from this turmoil stronger than before, or is this the beginning of its unraveling? Only time will tell. What is clear, though, is that the British royal family is entering a new era, and the world is watching closely. Every move they make will be under the spotlight, and how they handle this crisis could define the monarchy for generations to come. The monarchy's future is uncertain, with deep divisions within the family and public support no longer a given. Will this period of turmoil lead to the rise of a modern monarchy, or could it signal the end of one of the oldest and most iconic institutions in the world? Only time will tell. Do you think Queen Camilla's removal as queen consort was necessary? What exactly did Paul reveal? Has his revelations changed the way the world views Princess Diana and her legacy? Let's get started. The fateful night of Princess Diana's death. Before we get into what Paul had to say about Princess Diana after she died, we need to first know how she died, and if the reason for her death was why Paul broke his silence in the first place. Everyone who knew Princess Diana, personally or not, loved her.
She was the most loved member of the royal family, if she still is even a member of the royal family. She's the one that I think we all connected with.
She was an incredible princess whose beauty and sweet personality made people all around the world fans of the crown. But one fateful day, everything changed. On the night of August 31st, 1997, something terrible happened that many people will never forget. Princess Diana, a woman loved by millions around the world for her kindness and work for good causes, died in a car crash in Paris. She was only 36 years old.
The crash in a Paris tunnel that killed Princess Diana, Dodi Al-Fayed, and their driver, Henri Paul, was the fault of the driver, drunk and speeding away from the chasing paparazzi.
This event happened when she was trying to escape from photographers who were following her. Princess Diana was with her boyfriend, Dodi Fayed, at the time. Dodi was the son of a very rich man named Mohammed Al-Fayed. The couple had spent the evening together and were trying to get away from all the attention that surrounded them. That night, Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed had been at the Ritz Hotel in Paris. The Ritz was a famous hotel, and it was owned by Dodi's father. Diana and Dodi had been dating for a while, and many people were very interested in their relationship. The media and photographers, known as the paparazzi, were always trying to take pictures of them. Earlier that day, they had enjoyed some time together on a boat, relaxing on the French Riviera. But when they returned to Paris, they were once again followed by the paparazzi. This constant attention from photographers made their lives difficult. In the evening of August 30th, Diana and Dodi had dinner at a fancy restaurant inside the Ritz Hotel. After their meal, they decided it was time to leave. But they knew that many photographers were waiting for them outside the front entrance of the hotel. To avoid them, they made the choice to leave through the back door instead of the front. They hoped this would help them get away without being followed. Despite their efforts, the paparazzi found out about their plan and followed them as soon as they left. Diana and Dodi got into a black Mercedes-Benz car. The driver of the car was a man named Henry Paul. Henry Paul worked at the Ritz Hotel, and he was the one driving them that night. There was also a bodyguard in the car with them named Trevor Reese Jones. Henry Paul was driving the car because they wanted to leave quickly and escape from the photographers. The group hoped to reach Dodi's apartment, which was not far from the hotel. They thought that if they could get there fast, they could avoid the paparazzi and have some peace. But the photographers did not give up. They followed the car on motorcycles and in other cars, determined to get pictures of Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed. As the car sped through the streets of Paris, Henry Paul tried to lose the photographers by driving faster and taking different routes. The situation became dangerous as the car was moving very quickly through the city. They eventually entered a tunnel called the Pont de l'Alma Tunnel. This is where things took a turn for the worst. In the tunnel, Henry Paul lost control of the car. The car crashed into a pillar inside the tunnel at high speed. The impact of the crash was devastating. The front of the car was crushed, and the people inside were seriously hurt. When emergency services arrived, they tried to help everyone involved.
2 phone calls came early on and told me that there had been an accident, and clearly I needed to get to the hospital quickly.
Sadly, Dodi Fayed and Henry Paul were pronounced dead at the scene. Princess Diana was still alive but in critical condition. She was rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors did everything they could to save her. Despite their efforts, Princess Diana died a few hours later from her injuries. The only person who survived the crash was the bodyguard, Trevor Reese Jones, though he was badly hurt as well. The news of Princess Diana's death spread quickly, and people all over the world were shocked and heartbroken.
The Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident, and that her partner, Dodi Fayed, has also been killed. They were apparently being pursued by paparazzi on 2 motorcycles.
Many could not believe that someone as beloved as Diana could be gone so suddenly. Diana was laid to rest at her family's estate, Althorpe, in Northamptonshire, England. Her grave is located on a small island in the middle of a lake. Her family wanted this place to be a peaceful resting place, away from the public eye. Even though Diana was no longer with them, her legacy lived on. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, have continued her charitable work in many ways, carrying on the causes that were important to their mother. Princess Diana's death was a tragic and sudden event that changed many lives. It showed the dangers of the intense media attention that surrounded her life, as well as the impact she had on so many people. Even today, many years later, people still remember Princess Diana with love and respect. Since her death, there have been tons of rumors of what really happened in that tunnel, but none of these rumors were confirmed. This meant that nobody knew what exactly happened that fateful night. Well, that is until recently when Diana's butler himself, Paul Burnell, came out with some truths about the princess's private life. But what exactly did Paul have to say? Let's find out. Conspiracy theories about Diana's death and Paul's shocking revelations. After Princess Diana died, at first, the crash was seen as a tragic accident caused by the driver, who had been drinking, and the paparazzi who were chasing the car. But over time, some people began to believe that there might be more to the story. They wondered if the crash had been planned on purpose, and some even thought that people in powerful positions, possibly connected to the royal family, might have been involved. One of the reasons that these conspiracy theories started was because of a letter that was written by Princess Diana herself. This letter, which became very famous later on, was written by Diana in 1995, about 2 years before her death.
The bombshell letter is said to have been written by Princess Diana herself just 2 years before her tragic death.
Diana alleged that her husband, Prince Charles, was planning to stage a car crash.
In the letter, Diana expressed her fears that something bad might happen to her. She wrote that she believed that there were people who wanted to get rid of her, and she even mentioned that she thought they might try to cause her to have a car accident. When this letter became public, many people were very shocked. They began to wonder if Diana's death had been more than just an accident. Despite these rumors, the official investigations into Diana's death concluded that the crash was just a tragic accident. The first investigation was conducted by the French authorities. They looked into what happened that night and found that the driver of the car, Henri Paul, had been drinking alcohol and was driving too fast. They also noted that the paparazzi were chasing the car, which put pressure on Henri Paul to drive even faster. The French investigation concluded that these factors led to the crash and that it was not planned. But the conspiracy theories did not go away. In fact, they seemed to grow stronger over time. Many people were not satisfied with the explanation that the crash was an accident. They continued to believe that there might have been more to the story. In response to these concerns, another investigation was launched in the United Kingdom. This investigation was called Operation Paget. It was led by the British police, and it looked into all the different conspiracy theories that had been circulating since Diana's death. Operation Paget began in 2004, about 7 years after the crash.
The probe was launched by the British Metropolitan Police in 2004 as part of the investigation into the various conspiracy theories surrounding Diana's death in 1997.
The investigation was very thorough and took several years to complete. The goal of Operation Paget was to determine whether there was any truth to the conspiracy theories, or if the crash had truly been an accident. As part of the investigation, the police looked at all the evidence, including Diana's letter, the events leading up to the crash, and the actions of everyone involved. In 2006, the findings of Operation Paget were released. The investigation concluded that there was no evidence to support the conspiracy theories. Like the French investigation, Operation Paget found that the crash was caused by the driver, Henri Paul, who had been drinking and was driving too fast. The report also mentioned the role of the paparazzi, who were chasing the car and making the situation even more dangerous. Operation Paget did not find any evidence of a plan to murder Princess Diana, and it stated that the crash was a tragic accident. Despite the conclusions of Operation Paget, some people continued to believe in the conspiracy theories. They pointed to Diana's letter as evidence that she knew something bad was going to happen to her. They also raised questions about other aspects of the crash, such as the actions of the French authorities and the response of the emergency services. For example, some people wondered why it took so long for Diana to be taken to the hospital after the crash. Others questioned the role of the British intelligence services and whether they might have been involved in some way. That's where Diana's butler, Paul Burnell, came in. Princess Diana's life was always in the spotlight, but there were many things about her that the public didn't know. After her tragic death in 1997, more details about her private life started to come out. One of the people who shared many of these details was her former butler, Paul Burrell. He worked for Diana for many years and was very close to her. His revelations about her private life surprised many people and gave a deeper understanding of who Diana was behind the scenes. These stories also showed the challenges she faced and the kind of person she was when she was not in front of the cameras. Paul Burrell began working for the royal family in the 1980s. At first, he worked for Queen Elizabeth II, but later, in 1987, he started working for Princess Diana. He became one of her closest and most trusted staff members. Diana once called him her rock, which showed how much she relied on him. Paul saw many of the private moments in Diana's life, and he was there for her during some of her most difficult times. He was by her side as she navigated her marriage, her role as a mother, and her very public life. One of the key revelations Paul made about Diana's private life was about how lonely she often felt. Even though Diana was one of the most famous women in the world, she sometimes felt isolated and alone. Paul talked about how Diana would often confide in him about her feelings of sadness and loneliness. She felt that she couldn't always trust the people around her, and this made her life very difficult. He also revealed that this loneliness somehow managed to make her develop an eating disorder called bulimia. Diana's struggles were not just about her personal relationships, but also about the pressures of living such a public life. Things don't end there. Another major aspect of Diana's private life that Paul Burrell revealed was her struggle with her marriage to Prince Charles. Diana and Charles got married in 1981, and their wedding was watched by millions of people around the world.
It's 34 years now since a young woman called Diana Spencer married her prince. It was a day of memorable images, of a young couple emerging as man and wife from St. Paul's Cathedral.
However, behind the scenes, their marriage was not as perfect as it seemed. Paul shared details about how difficult things were for Diana in her marriage. She knew that Prince Charles had a close relationship with another woman, Camilla Parker Bowles, and this caused her a lot of pain. Diana once famously said in an interview that there were 3 of us in this marriage, referring to Charles, Camilla, and herself. Paul's revelations gave even more insight into how deeply this situation affected Diana. Diana's battle with mental health issues was another part of her private life that Paul spoke about. Diana struggled with bulimia, a serious eating disorder, for many years. This was something that she had to deal with in secret, even while carrying out her royal duties and maintaining her public image. Paul shared how Diana would sometimes use food as a way to cope with the stress and pressure of her life. She also had periods of deep sadness, and at times, she felt overwhelmed by everything that was happening around her. Paul's stories highlighted the emotional difficulties Diana faced, even though she always tried to put on a brave face for the public. Despite these struggles, Paul also talked about how much Diana cared about other people. She had a deep sense of compassion and empathy, and she was always looking for ways to help those who were less fortunate. Paul shared stories about how Diana would go out of her way to visit people who were sick or in need. She often did these things without any cameras or publicity because she genuinely wanted to make a difference. One of the most famous examples of this was when Diana visited patients with HIV and AIDS during a time when there was a lot of fear and stigma surrounding the disease. Paul revealed that these visits were not just for show. Diana truly cared about the people she was helping, and she wanted to show them that they were not alone. Apart from her compassion, Paul also spoke about Diana's strength and determination. Even though she faced many challenges, she was always determined to stand up for herself and for what she believed in. Paul shared how Diana worked hard to create her own path, especially after her separation from Prince Charles. She wanted to be her own person and to have her own voice, even within the constraints of the royal family. This was not always easy, but Diana was determined to make a difference in the world. Paul admired this quality in her, and he often spoke about how strong she was, even when things were very tough.
She was so iconic and so incredible and such a beautiful spirit. I still look towards that, even today.
Diana's role as a mother was another important part of her private life that Paul shared. Diana had 2 sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, and she was very dedicated to them. Paul talked about how much Diana loved her sons, and how she always tried to protect them from the pressures of royal life. She wanted them to have as normal a childhood as possible, despite the fact that they were growing up in the public eye. Diana took her role as a mother very seriously, and Paul shared many stories about the lengths she would go to in order to spend time with her boys and make sure they were happy. One of the most touching stories Paul shared was about how Diana would sneak out of the palace to spend time with her sons. Even though she had a very busy schedule and was constantly in the public eye, Diana always made time for William and Harry. Paul would help her plan secret trips so that she could take them out for a day without being followed by the press. These moments were very special to Diana, and they showed how much she valued her role as a mother above everything else. After Diana's death in 1997, Paul Burrell wrote a book called A Royal Duty, in which he shared many of these stories about her private life. The book caused a lot of controversy when it was released in 2003. Some people felt that Paul should not have shared such personal details about Diana, while others appreciated the insight it provided into who she really was. Paul defended his decision to write the book by saying that he wanted people to know the truth about Diana's life and the challenges she faced. He believed that by sharing these stories, he was honoring her memory and helping people understand the real person behind the public image. In the book, Paul also shared details about the time after Diana's death. He talked about how difficult it was for him to cope with the loss of someone he had been so close to. He also shared how he felt that he had a responsibility to protect Diana's memory and ensure that the truth about her life was not forgotten. Paul's revelations gave the world a deeper understanding of the woman who was often called the people's princess. His stories showed that even though Diana was a global icon, she was also a human being who faced many of the same struggles as everyone else. Paul's decision to speak out about Diana's private life also showed the complicated relationship between the royal family and the people who worked for them. After the book was published, there was a lot of debate about whether Paul had betrayed Diana's trust by sharing these details. Some members of the royal family were not happy with the book, and there were even legal issues surrounding some of the things Paul had revealed. However, Paul insisted that he had written the book out of love and respect for Diana, and that he wanted to make sure her true story was told. Despite his good intentions, not everyone received Paul's revelations very well. Why is this the case? And what was the exact problem the public had with Paul breaking his silence? Let's get into it. How Paul's revelations affected Diana's legacy. Paul Burrell's decision to share details about Princess Diana's life and death caused a lot of talk among the public and the media. Paul was more than just a butler. He was someone very close to Diana. He spent years with her and saw many parts of her life up close. Because of this, many people believed that what he had to say was important and truthful. Some people thought Paul was being honest, and they appreciated his stories.